Bicycle Pedestrian Advisory Committee. I'm calling this meeting to order at 6 o'clock on the nose. So I'll turn it over to Eugene for a roll call.
Jamie Jackson?
Here.
Brian Ogle?
Here.
Lee Anderson?
Here.
Kevin Brown? Chris Clark? Denise Flatley?
Here.
Aaron Frank? Deborah Foltz? Brian Gouge? Rachel Inman?
Here.
Jim Lynch?
Here.
Jacob Paswick?
Here.
Craig Pennington?
I'm online.
All right, Chair, we have a quorum.
All right, great. That's good news. I'd like to welcome Denise. If you want to say anything about yourself.
I'm from Keith George County and I'm on the planning commission there. And so I hope to be able to incorporate some ideas from this committee into our comp plan that's coming up next year.
Great, well, we are glad to have you, so welcome to the team. All right, so we'll start off with approval of the November 6th BPAC meeting agenda. Can I get a motion for approval?
I so moved.
All right, and can I get a second?
Let's make a second.
All right, any discussion, changes or modifications? All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. Next item is the approval of the September 4th meeting minutes as an action item. Hopefully everybody's had the opportunity to review. Can I get a motion for approval?
Miss Chair, I'm going to actually abstain because I wasn't here at that last meeting.
Okay,
Everybody know.
okay.
Okay. I will motion to approve.
All right, can I get a second?
A second.
All right, any discussion?
I
All right, all those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, and we have one abstention.
Abstain.
Oh, two abstentions. All right, great, thank you. All right, at this time, item number 5 is public comment. Public comment period is open for members of the public. We ask that those who are speaking have 3 minutes, and that will be nicely timed by Eugene. So don't think we're trying to cut you off prematurely if you are here for public comment. But I'll start off with John. Is he here? Okay. So John, I'll turn it over to you for public comment related to the draft Rappahannock Urban Crossing.
Real quick, last time I spoke back in July to this committee, we were going through kind of the last recommendations the consultants presented. At this point in time, we're now wrapping up the project and study. So next slide. We are here. We're still taking public input. Currently, we're actually open for public comment. Next slide. And about that, it is on the draft document that Michael Baker International submitted to FAMPO. Within this, it's a very large document. It's over 700 pages, but at the core there's its core findings, recommendations. It has its planning environmental linkages, documentation, traffic analysis tables, the agency coordination and public meeting documents. So every single public comment that's been received over the course of this study is included, as well as what any public comment that's still coming in will be added onto this. And it's well over 200 pages at this point in time. And we've even documented media thus far. So within this document, particularly since about July at that last meeting, there's really been no new data or analysis done since then. Next slide. What we are doing within this document is memorializing kind of what's at the core of the study is to actually screen in and roll out corridors. So right now, the corridor D is currently the option that is being screened out due to its impacts. However, options A, B as in B1 and B2 come up together, as well as the locally preferred option, option C, and the no build are all advancing potentially to the next stage. And all of them are going to be considered equally should the project continue to advance. So, and finally, we're memorializing that the policy committee has selected option C as its locally preferred alternative, as well as documenting feedback from our citizens transportation advisory group that they've endorsed a modified option C. And really from this group and committee is that we're also trying to get any last comments as far as our bike and ped and trail network, any feedback that we want to add last into it. It won't go into a new analysis, but we are still taking feedback and building that into the final report so that we capture all of the comments within the community. Next slide. So just a reminder, we've had 5 main corridors presented, one as far east as fairly close to I-95, option A, and then they work westward, B1, B2, C, and D. And the C1 is the one that's currently being basically not recommended to move forward in any capacity. And option C is currently the preferred locally preferred alternative that we'll be using for cost estimates as well as draft designs. Next slide. Also updated with the document, it's not included in this draft, partially because the cost can't be built in as far as the alternatives analysis at this stage. But we do want to know that we've continued to receive revised cost estimates for this program. And right now, the way that the current sketches and designs are, it's looking to be about 290 million, but that also includes a large contingency for both right-of-way construction and utilities relocation. So keep in mind that this is not a final cost estimate. We don't look for, say, the policy committee to adopt a cost estimate because these things change very frequently and there's a lot of variability at this time, but that's currently where we stand. Next slide. So just as a reminder, we are ending our public comment in about 13 days. We'll have our next public hearing at the policy committee meeting. And currently, and actually, the final comments from VDOT and some of the jurisdictions have rolled in already. That we are actually receiving both technical review of the draft designs and the cost estimates. So if you have any questions or you would like to make public comment, please let me know.
Thank you. Any questions, John?
Where can they access the draft report, John?
So the draft report is on the FAMPO website under studies and river crossing. So you can have that as well as this presentation.
Great, thank you so much. All right, at this time, if we have any members of the public that wish to speak, you are more than welcome to speak at this time. Any members of the public that wish to speak?
Is this some of the here regarding the bike trail?
Okay,
Is this the time that we?
yeah, if there is something that you want to speak about related to bike pedestrian facilities, you're more than welcome to speak here. If there's a particular item that you're referencing, and if it's related to the downtown pedestrian project, that is a city project, which you're more than welcome to speak here, or there's a city meeting on the
The
20th.
13th. It's
13th.
Yeah, it's on the 13th at 5:30.
So if you'd like to speak now, you're more than welcome to. And you have 3 minutes.
I have a statement. Thompson, and it's supposed to Caroline. We attended a meeting 4 weeks ago that VDOT had to present their proposed sketch of what would happen to the 200 and 300 block of Caroline Street, and we're very concerned. Basically, what this sketch showed was that the lanes on the 200 and the 300 block of Caroline Street would be reduced from 2 to 1. So there would be approximately 7 feet plus a 3-foot buffer for bikes. And one lane, our lanes right now are 11 feet wide, or 2, and we would be reduced to 1 lane that would be 10 feet wide. Several of the residents on Caroline Street, they took their measurements of their tape outside and measured everything as VDOT had proposed it. And my neighbor tried to back out of her driveway because she was backing over 7-foot bike trail, the 3-foot buffer. However wide my vehicle is to get to the lane, supposed to go to drive on. So I wanted to let folks know that I was in Richmond yesterday, and I drove down to the East Franklin Street to take a look at the bike path in front of the FAMPO house, which is where the Garden Club of Virginia is located. And I will tell you, it's a mess. It is so bad. It's a two-way street down Franklin. My husband got out to take a picture of the barrier buffer. There was one car in front of us, and I kept thinking, okay, this is a two-lane street. Car's not moving, and I suddenly realized that was where the car was supposed to be parked, in the middle of the street. We've been on Caroline Street for over 50-some years. We have dealt with, nightclub, with folks rolling out of it at 10:30, 11 o'clock at night. We have dealt with drugs going down Rocky Lane. We have dealt with speed, people that are speeding. But we have raised our kids on Caroline Street all these years. Nobody got hit by a car. Now, a couple of them were fell in the river. Yeah, thank God. But there have been no accidents. So we are hoping that we love the bikers. We want them to come, but we like to share our street with them. We're very proud of that street. We work hard, keep it looking nice. What happens to the trolley is one lane? What happens to the trolley comes by? What happens when the trash is being picked up? What happens when, and we have tourists there all the time, and we're happy for that. But we feel like the most dramatic change will be to 200 and 300 blocks of Caroline Street, and we're not quite sure when that happens. Actually, I'm gonna let this is my neighbor Marty, and he is much better at speaking than I am. Marty, would you like to say words?
I think you got 3 minutes.
I guess I'll.
Would you like to say, Marty?
You're more than welcome to say.
I think that's the outline, what the issue is. Those of us, I live at 216 Caroline, but one of Princess Elizabeth and Caroline. And, you know, I don't think any of us are opposed to having bikers through. Earlier age, I might have ridden my bike over. But proposal of putting up this Chinese wall of automobiles are 9 feet down from the curb just makes no sense. Aesthetically, it's terrible for the city. And practically, people live there. It's huge. So getting my wife has to be in a wheelchair out of the way. Over. So I think that he does part of this in the right place. I don't think that is plan B.
Thank you.
John McLaughlin. I live at 210 Caroline Street. And so I share a lot of the same issues that they have. But my background is in rehabilitation. So I do want to speak a little bit more about what happens when we're either elderly and disabled in trying to use our vehicles. And certainly in looking at the design of VDOT, looking at that and then trying to get someone who is disabled out of their house, across a bike lane into the right side of their car to get in the passenger side. My guess is that they'll be hit. And so then we will have even more people, more disabilities if we're lucky. So I would ask that this is serious consideration when you're looking at the design. I used to ride a I think it's great to ride a bike. I think there are other ways that you could design it. I know I spoke with the DDOT people when they were measuring, doing everything, but they only had one plan at that point. And it looks like this is the plan that they had. I see that there's other ways that you could paint the street and still people could get out. I am unfortunate, I have a driveway. But getting in and out of that driveway on a regular day is a challenge. And I can't imagine if I have to go over the bike lane and pass people who are parked on the other side of the wall to get out of my driveway. I'll just have body damage. That's what I'll have in my vehicle. I know that. So I just wanted to stand up and say, please think about the people who have disabilities. Really important. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Anybody else wish to speak? Yeah, go ahead.
I'm Marilyn Mendel and I live at 125 Caroline. So far, I'm still able to drive and walk and do everything. The point for our industry is a couple of things. Number one, I don't know how many of you have driven down to the end of Caroline Street, down by the Hughes home. Raise your hands. Okay, so you already know that there's a cul-de-sac at the back. And when you drive down there at any given day, we get ambulances constantly. It's like a hospital, all right? You need to realize those ambulances need to get through. And we don't see a way that that's gonna happen. All right, we also, construction. There is not a time in 20-something, 25, 26 years I've lived there that I have not seen major construction at some time with trucks and all kinds of things. You can't get garbage trucks down there. I don't have parking. I already have Joe sign in front of my house that says reserve parking because it's a left. I only have one car. I don't have 4 cars. I don't have a driveway. And so it becomes very difficult, especially if people are tourists and there's activities going downtown. We don't have places to park. So it's a parking issue. It's an emergency issue for the Hughes home that I don't think anybody's taken into consideration. And that is really serious night and day. And so thank you for listening to me. I appreciate your time.
Thank you. All right, anybody else interested in speaking? Yes.
Oh, please, one safety alert. I'm not planned for anything. I don't want to. Well, Prince Edward in the 1400 block. My name is Kim Smart. I've been there most 8 years. During the whole conversation, we've heard a lot about bicycle boulevards on Prince Edward, and I'm not certain as what that entails. Does that mean speed humps? Does it mean different signage? Does it mean any kind of paintings or lines on the road? Right now, the city came out and we have new yellow lines down the street to try and encourage people to drive a little bit slower, stay on their side of the road. I don't know if it's working too well. It's been weeks now that that's been in place. We do have bicycle paintings on the lanes that say, this is a bicycle route. People bike up and down that road all the time. I ride bikes, my husband rides bikes, my neighbors do. We've had many conversations with the city regarding the speeding and what's going on up and down Prince Edward Street. We've also had some accidents. We've had cars that have been sideswiped, and mirrors and handles and what have you taken off. So it has been an issue of volume of vehicles, of speeding, to a certain degree. Building going on up around South Avenue, the old hospital building, which we know is going to increase some of that. We do know that if you go onto GPS and have directions coming into the city, because now it's two-way on Fall Hill, it lot of cars are coming in that direction. It used to be one way. Now it's two way. It's been like that for years now, and that has increased a lot. My concerns are the type of thing I'd love for you to consider as you work through recommendations have to do with the volume and the speed limits within that area. We have, and this is something that I just know from speaking to people. We have had families who have moved off of Prince Edward, families with young children, because they've said too many cars, too fast. We need to go someplace a little safer. That's something to think about. Something to think about along those lines. Each of the side roads, Pitt, Hawk, here, Lewis, everybody around there calls them Hail Mary streets. It's you inch out, inch out, inch out, and then hope you don't get hit. So, I don't know if anybody else has anything to add to that, but that is the area that I live. That's what I see on a regular basis. Please keep in mind those issues. What happens with Bicycle Boulevard? What does that look like? What happens there? What are the tools that you use in order to address these issues? It appears to be. And then I have a neighbor here, and we have contacted the city numerous times in writing, verbally, because the Prince Edward is a thoroughfare for emergency vehicles. We knew that when we moved in. We understand it. They tend to be the ones that drive. So, keep that in mind too. Thank you very much. Yes.
And just to build on that, I'm Mariana Bedway. I live at 1400 block of Prince Edward Street. Since January, we've had 7 cars hit. My husband's car was completely sideswiped and almost totally. It's a new car. And it's just a matter of when you come down Prince Edward Street and you get down in that dip, there's just this element of speed that happens. And the last car that was hit was the last car on 1300. 5 cars on 1400 blocks in January, and 1 car in the next block. And so when I look at that incident rate compared to other blocks in the city, I think we need to be able to do that. I know that it was an emergency vehicle that did those, not my husband's. It was someone after the Commanders game who was a hit and run, and so our insurance paid for it. But I guess my point is, I know that the new fire station on Fall Hill will reduce some of this emergency vehicle activity, but there's still a concern that from a public safety standpoint, this is probably not the primary street you would want cyclists. I'm a cyclist, so I've ridden a lot of MS rides and different things. But I would think Charles Street, just one street behind us, you have less activity, and it could still tie in nicely with the trails. I think we just need to be open-minded of not putting additional bicycles on a road that is designated for ambulances.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you all for your comments. You've got representatives, myself included, from VDOT and the city here. We aren't the people that are specifically responsible for those projects, but we will follow up with them. As mentioned, one more time, it's November 13th at 5:30. And where's the location?
That I would have to look up.
Okay, just making sure that y'all are aware of that meeting as well, but they'll have additional graphics, and the actual city staff, I believe, will be presenting there, which will actually probably be more beneficial than some of the depictions that you may have gotten from VDOT. You will get more interaction with people that are dealing with that area every day. So I think you got a good display from VDOT, but I think meeting with the city staff, including myself, I won't be there as a representative, but I appreciate your comments. I've written them down, and I'll also get the minutes from, BPAC, the BPAC meeting and show. So thank you.
Sure, I have a quick question for you. So that future meeting with the city, I'm
Yes.
from Spotsy, so this is not something I'm very familiar with, but the future meeting with the city, is that specific to Caroline Street, or does it involve some of these other streets that we've been talking?
It involves the other streets as
Yeah.
well.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good to know. Thank you.
And y'all are more than welcome to stay for the rest of the meeting, but if you don't need that type of excitement in your life, you're more than welcome back. Thank y'all. No, thank y'all for coming. Thank
Yeah.
you for speaking.
We appreciate you all.
Yeah, public comment matters. I'll try not to. We've got a rowdy bunch here, so we'll see. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right,
Thank you. Good night.
All right, Lita, you're up next.
Sure, Jack, I do have one comment on
Okay, please.
commentary on Caroline Street bike lane. Reference Fredericksburg downtown engineering study, September 25. See paragraph 3.4 and figure. This appears to be a very hazardous design and especially unfriendly to residents. Although technically traffic can eke by when a parked car has a passenger/driver who are into the traffic lane, the safety margin is reduced to a ridiculous level. If cars on both sides of the street are unloading, this is way work. Any kind of oversized vehicle would be unable to pass. All traffic would be forced to stop. Every vehicle would require all traffic to stop. This bike lane concept needs to die now. Further, PDES does not contain info on current bike traffic volume. As a resident of Lower Caroline, I'm pretty sure current traffic is less than 5 bikes per day. Estimated cost is $703,125. Add 50% contingency, if we're talking over $1 million to convenience perhaps just 5 select individuals. That is $200,000 per biker. This is a moral outrage. I am handicapped and live on the east side of Caroline. You can imagine how much hazard and hassle this will add to efforts to bring a load of groceries to the house. Yes, attached and the copy of the tennis.
Okay, thank you. All right, if there are no more comments from the public, we'll close the public comment period. And we'll go over to the next item on discussion, which is from Lita.
Yes.
Okay, hi everyone. This is the bike counter update for November, so we'll get right into it. So this is a Chatham Bridge update, first of all, and for the year so far, the calendar year, we've got just under 60,000 people. And I thought it was kind of interesting. I showed how much more traffic has been on the bridge since I last presented this to you all, with data from August 11th. So it's been 17,000 people since then in the past, I guess, to the end of October. So just under 3 months. Anyway, kind of cool. July 4th is still holding the record for peak count. Moving on. And this is, again, kind of before we get into the counter, it's just an update on how the counter data is being used and how we're displaying it. So we were actually asked by the policy committee a question about adding the bike counter data to our complete streets map. But that caused a question of, are we going to be comparing apples and oranges here since the counter is put up at different times of the year in these different locations? So how can we make it more comparable given weather variation? So this is just a little bit of behind the scenes of what I did, but I went through and I guess normalized each site to the Chatham counts, since that's up all year round, to kind of account for weather variation. And so you can see this is kind of the graph where now I can take an average for the year at all different sites, even if they were up for only 2 weeks in like the summer, and it'll be kind of controlled with the Chatham bridge counts. And took that and added it to our existing conditions map. If you remember that from the Complete Streets presentation. And so the size of these are relative to the extrapolated daily average that I calculated for each site. And color also corresponds with the type of facility there. So red here is shared use paths. Pink will be trails, like natural trails. Orange is sidewalk. Yeah, and yellow is a desire line. Anyway, just something you all can go check out, fiddle around with, but trying to answer that question from our policy committee and have a cool way of, again, I guess, beefing up or using the counter data we're collecting. So now we can hopefully, compare it in a way that is more legitimate than if we were using those seasonal numbers. But now we can get into the new sites that I'll be presenting on today. And it's one in each locality. So Fredericksburg, we're on Fall Hill Avenue near James Monroe, where the pipeline study actually is going on there recently. In Stafford County, this was trying to kind of capture traffic coming over the Route 1 bridge, but it's on the sidewalk in South Stafford on the downstream side of Route 1. And in Spotsylvania, we're out on River Road here at Pretty Man Trail, which you can get from Mott's Run by Trail, cross the road here and continue onto the quarry trail system in the city. So it's right on the line of the county and the city, which is notable, I guess, and a crossing of the trail on the road. And that was actually recommended by a policy committee member who had seen people crossing the road there, and there's natural trail on both sides and just roadway, no real crossing indication. So just a query, how much traffic's that getting? And that's the first site that I monitored way back in the end of August, beginning of September. It did catch the Labor Day holiday right here, September 1st. But we're getting some pretty decent numbers, all things considered, coming in just under 300 people total with a daily average of 22 people. Then going just north of the river in Stafford, by the Route 1 bridge, got a total of 204 with a daily average of 16. And finally, in the city, so the cross street is Bridgewater Street, but really it's on the sidewalk, really close to Route 1. And then the James Monroe track is like right there fenced in. But yeah, a total of under 900, 889 with a daily average of 74. And it's actually, the camera's already been installed in Stafford. Right now it's in Fredericksburg again on the River Heritage Trail. And next week on Friday, I'm going to be moving it to Spotsylvania Parkway shared use path. And then closing out the year back in North Stafford on some of the asphalt sidewalk they have up there. And so in January, you'll get the update on all of those. Yes, and that's, I guess, the end of counter reports for this calendar year. Yay. That's all. Anyway, I'll take any questions or comments if you have them.
It's fabulous. You know how to normalize data. It's been 20 years since I was in school, so I couldn't do that if I tried, but yeah.
I have a question. Can we go back to the slide with the circles?
Yeah.
So first of all, I think it's super cool that you're doing desire lines. How large are your numbers and how confident do you feel? Because I know streetlights like a little iffy about that. Because I think it would be really neat to find out what are the desire lines that are used the most in our area to try and prioritize those for projects. Like what kind, do you remember when you were looking at it, what kind of index numbers you were like?
For these are calculated from the counter data that I've collected.
From the counter data, okay.
Yes.
Okay, awesome. So what was your biggest one?
This was Riverfront Park.
No, I mean for the desire lines.
Oh, for desire lines?
Mhm.
Let's see. I think actually that would have been now I'm not entirely sure, but I think it's actually right here. What is this? Colonial Forge Road, Old Forge Road in South Stafford is the biggest on this map, I believe. This is Lafayette.
Yeah, I knew that.
Or
Yeah.
also decent, but I think what takes them both is actually in North Stafford on Green Spring Drive, near the crossing Mine Road to get to the Walmart there. I'd have to double check, but I feel like I remember that one being pretty significant.
That's gonna be useful data.
But,
Any other questions, Lita?
Uh, yes, yes. So this road is, it goes up to the little church, the really shallow church. And you can turn right and eventually get down to River Road there. But if you would keep going, you turn left and then get on Butler. Yes, so Butler Road is up.
Yeah.
It's between Butler Road and the bridge, yes.
Sharon, the only thing I want to bring up before you, knowing that you're leaving the city, if there's somebody that you can pass it on to. Before, this goes way back to when Eric was still within the city as well. And you know where I'm going with it. That Pretty Man Trail at River Road. So the city, there is clearly a trail there, but it's not formalized per se. It goes across county land. There's no formal easement in place. There's crossing concerns for safety on River Road. There have been a lot of discussions between the city and county and our attorney's offices and and I think with the city and VDOT, trying to get a signalized kind of crosswalk situation constructed there. The only thing I would say is, from Spotsylvania's standpoint, the direction that we ultimately received was the city would need to essentially look to establish an easement across that short piece of property with the county. And then I believe the city was working with VDOT on the actual crossing. We didn't want to actually approve any easements until some sort of safe crossing was established. I know it's already there. This is just passing along. The city was originally working on it. Some of those key folks left. And then Fred Trails took it on and they were trying to independently do it, but they didn't want to pursue getting an easement and all. They wanted to do more of this kind of informal agreement. Long story short, it really needs to be an easement between the city and the county, it's my understanding. And then VDOT will take care of the road crossing. So I'm just passing it along to whoever it is. I just have some history on it. Thank you. Thanks for counting that. Actually, I was interested in that stat myself, so.
Maybe Jacob, if you could sort of write that out,
Sure.
we could pursue that.
Yeah, I
Get it.
think I probably have old emails. I'll just
Yeah,
bring them back from the day.
yeah, you could do that.
Might as well be efficient about it. Yeah, I'll do that.
Do what we can.
Sure.
Do that.
Thank you.
All right, Lita, you're up again. Sweet. Complete streets.
Here we go. Okay. So just starting with this, you all were the guinea pigs, kind of, and we were the first committee I presented complete streets to initially. So since then, it's been a lot of places, or I've been a lot of places presenting to other people. And so this is just a summary of not other FAMPO committees, but just different stakeholder groups I went to and talked to about complete streets and some of the feedback I got from them. So Fredericksburg Pathways really emphasized the importance of considering intersections in this plan and safety for pedestrians and bikes crossing these intersections. They also suggested, they really liked the crash data map that I'd shown. I think of it more than existing conditions, and had suggested aggregating the data there and just doing further analysis. So actually one of those things I already did, just pull that up real quick. But you can come now, and if you visit the map, you'll see 2 new layers in the layers tab that are bike crashes only and pedestrian crashes only. So I don't know if this is the best way to do it. And again, there were some other suggestions about, singling out crashes that are in transitional speed zones where the speed limit suddenly changes, or crashes that occur in shared lanes for bikes versus separated bike facilities. But this was kind of the easiest one to do initially. And it just, again, segments those out. And actually I have them both together because I symbolize the bikes differently just to see, if there's any patterns there. I haven't quite analyzed that, but it's there and ready to, look at. Just another way of segmenting the data. Additionally, they'd also, Fredericksburg Pathways, they still asked for us to consider slugs in the plan and think about, and that's, so, commuters, I don't know if you all know what slugs are. That's Leesville Wheelhouse, but the informal kind of carpools for commuters. Yeah.
We just did a count on it, and every day we take enough people in Slugging to fill 13 buses each way. So that's getting a lot of cars off the road.
Excellent.
Anyway, I was excited when I was presenting about this. And said, you gonna talk about slugs in your plan? Oh, I'm actually. Anyway, I think an easy way to tie that in is just also like commuter lots where slugs are meeting up and how those are connected to the rest of the network. Do they have good bike head connections for people to get there?
Could be better.
Could be better.
Yes.
Yeah. So
They could be better.
that in the plan. They'd also mentioned motorized micromobility, so electric scooters and bikes, and how if those are growing or more people are buying into that, how to account for that in complete streets. At the Public Transportation Advisory Board, representative from Mary Washington Healthcare talked about the community health assessment and how some data from that can inform complete streets, where just complete streets is an opportunity to get out, exercise, how it can benefit people's health. Yeah, and recreational opportunities, all of that. In addition, someone else from PTAB asked if we were considering tourism in the plan, and maybe just kind of brought that up, and it was something we hadn't really thought about, but now it's at least in the brain space. I don't know, maybe we can address that. Disability Resource Center, kind of similar to Fredericksburg Pathways, emphasizing the importance of safety at intersections, particularly timings and cycles of pedestrian signalized crossing. Additionally, barriers, just making sure that the pavement's smooth and working and people can roll or walk easily where they need to go. And additionally, identified the need for medical transportation, non-emergency and emergency. Yeah, having access to the services people need. Okay. I'm just gonna. All right. Moving on. And this is it's very similar to the existing conditions map, but now we have a new one that includes planned projects. Because this is kind of like, I guess, our second of 3 phases where we're establishing, okay, what's on the ground, what is already planned, and we can go on to be what is missing from the plans, from the ground, what are the gaps we need to fill. So of these projects, and this, yeah, what's missing, that's kind of addressing those gaps ultimately that are still unaddressed. For the planners in the room more so, what is the timeline for these? Like, what's the hierarchy? Which ones are coming sooner or later? Maybe for anyone, what should the timeline be if that's not established? What are higher priority projects that are planned? And yeah, where there's still gaps. Oh, what's missing is what plans am I missing actually? What's not? But anyway, so you can come up here and it's very similar to the existing conditions map, except there's a lot more layers for planned facilities, which are all turned off right now. But again, I find it easy just to come to the layer tab and turn on and off what you need, since it can get overwhelming pretty quickly with a lot going on. Also, from the Disability Resource Center, some people we were just talking about different pedestrian signals and ADA curb ramps, and VDOT has a layer of these are audible pedestrian signals, and where they are for the counties. And I've been in contact with someone from VDOT who manages their ADA curb ramp layer. I would like to add that to the map. They've just been processing approval of that request. And the city does not maintain layers for either of those facilities. That's just an update on the mapping layers. But yeah, you can come in and turn on, plan shared use paths, and from there, you double check the legend because it is symbolized based on what's funded, design, conceptual, and there is more data if you come in that it's funded, which was a part of Smart Scale round 5, I believe.
And round 5.
Yes.
And Lita, you want the locality planning to look at this and review it and make sure it's correct, right?
Yeah, if there's anything from your plans, your inventory that is not on this map, let me know. And I guess if, and also any updates on, okay, has something got funds on it that didn't have funds on it before? Or can anything change in status? Yeah, that's the status attribute, I guess. That's it. Just making sure it's all updated. So again, you can then come back and be like, okay, what's still missing?
Do your two different conceptual layers differ, or are they the same?
Oh, those are the same.
Okay, just checking.
No, that's a good question. That was like a technical tweak that's technical. So,
Okay.
Anyway. I'm gonna scroll down. But this is the final really exciting thing that if you're on our mailing list, you might have heard about today. But we are doing public workshops for complete streets and we'll have a survey going out. The survey will be out later this month after our policy committee meeting, which is on the 17th. But we will have 3 public workshops in all 3 FAMPO jurisdictions. And also we'll have physical copies of the survey there, but just trying to get public input for the plan and inform the public about the plan. Do it all. They're all from 4 to 7 p.m. That's missing from this slide, but 4 to 7 p.m. on Wednesday evenings in November to in December. Yeah, so please, if you can come, if you're interested in coming, please do come out, whichever one suits you best. But it'd also be super helpful if you could share this with anyone who you think might be interested, or even people who you think might not be interested. You should share with them anyway. That's all. So yeah, that's all I have.
All right, any questions for Lita? Good job. This looks fabulous.
So would you go back to the, accident fund?
The map.
Yeah, the crash data map.
Yeah, the map. And, I was, really. Everyone that was here from Lower Caroline. Wonder if you could zoom in on.
Oh,
Yeah, they had some, what I thought was some really interesting points.
you just want to look at the street. I can change the.
Lower Caroline.
It's like here.
Yeah, it was that one and then the next block out. So that's all 100. That long stretch is all 100 and that.
You mentioned 300.
Did they? I thought they said
Yeah,
600.
Yeah.
Yeah, they said 100, 200, and 300 block, I think. Am I correct that I don't see any accidents there?
Yes, no accidents involving cyclists or pedestrians
This is the Dixon,
since 26.
the Dixon Park connector that they're really.
Yeah.
So they were just a little about what they were. That's
where it's.
what they are talking about. Those folks were here about. What, that there weren't any crashes?
No pedestrian or cyclist.
Right.
Yeah, there's apparently a lot of. Putting in. Claims, facilities.
I don't know how they arrived at needing facilities. Maybe that street could be a shared street if the traffic is low enough. But I did not attend the hearing. I could not. I should have.
Oh, is it the red one?
Yeah.
That's the one
And-
that plan shared use have.
Yes,
And it
that goes
down
all the way.
connecting to Dixon.
That was the Dixon Park connector from Round 5. It's an important project. perhaps that part of it could be modified somewhat. To see how it connects to the Bankside Trail and the VCS
Yes.
Trail, like it's a great connector.
That is pretty.
Yeah. Yeah, it can be killed.
It can be modified until it's cured. I said it can be modified until it's poured and cured.
Until, yeah, the country.
Right. But unfortunately,
Don't do it.
if it gets killed, the locality has to, like, if any work's been done on it, the locality has to pay the money back.
Yeah, we don't want to kill it.
So you definitely don't want to kill it. You want to find a way to make it work.
Anything else, Lita?
That's all for me. That's all for him.
Thank you. All right, next item is item C, BPAC member organization discussion. I'll turn this over to Carrie.
And I'm going to sit here because I always sit in the back. I always get the back. So I want to talk to you all about member vacancies and organizations and what makes sense. I have some recommendations. You may have noticed that the Potomac Rail and Transportation Commission has not attended ever for years. My recommendation is to remove them as a member organization and replace them with Fredericksburg Go. Because they're somewhat far removed, and I see that you have an opinion.
Oh, no, I'm just, is it the Potomac and Rappahannock
Yeah.
I just want to make sure it's,
They haven't been here in so long, I don't even know what their name
I
is.
just wanted to make sure there wasn't another organization
There's
out
not.
there.
There's not, there's only me.
Name made sense when you said it, and I was like, wait a minute. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, so they didn't attend and they're far removed from our regional bike ped issues. Whereas I feel very strongly that local transit, the network and the active transit. Wow, I didn't do that right at all. The active bike ped network, they all must function together for either to be truly optimal because we have bus stops, they need to be connected by sidewalks and paths. And bike ped without transit, you can't get very far on a bike or walking without the bus. It all has to work together. So I would like to bring our local transit into the BPAC fold. That is,
Oh, are they not already in?
how are they not already? Jamie is here to represent Fredericksburg, not FXB Go.
What actually is it?
FXB Go,
Is that an acronym?
yes.
Fred bus.
Local bus system.
Okay, it used to be,
Fred bus, yeah.
thank you.
So that was my first recommendation. My second one was to invite the Fredericksburg Pathways Committee. Who I think so should be part of us. And so according to our bylaws, the committee has to vote on removal and addition of member organizations. So that is, if you would like something we can vote on at the next meeting, if we want to do this. And then the second thing we need to talk about is member vacancies. So some members' terms have expired and they need to be reappointed or replaced. So the same person can be reappointed again by the board that appointed them in the first place, or they can step down and be replaced. Then we have 2 at-large members that the policy committee would have to appoint. And then the locality government appoint citizen reps and agency leadership appoints organization reps. So we have a letter attached that Eugene and I have worked on that we'll be sending to relevant agencies and localities. I'm also going to talk to the policy committee this month and let them know that we're going to ask them to appoint a couple of folks in the new year for the at-large members. So before we move on to that, what does everyone think about at least adding to the agenda for the next meeting, voting on these organizations?
The one about trading out PRTC. I forget what the acronym is. I'm terrible with PRTC means.
Potomac and Rappahannock
Transportation.
Commission. Ha, there you go. What did it even say? Rail something.
Rail.
At least they are to do with rail.
But yeah, they do VRE, so I was like,
It almost makes sense. Yeah, there you go. Yes, yes, Jim?
Well, it would seem to me that, swapping them out sounds like a real good idea. And I seem to remember that we used to have a rep from Fred that would often show up here. Or come give us a presentation. Maybe that was a while ago, but I do remember.
Hmm.
And one of the things that is you pointed out, Karen, do walk the item bike to where a bus stop is. That's so we should have something about where are the bus stops?
Mm-hmm. That's something, as we update our long-range transportation plan this year, I'm trying to combine more and more bike ped and transit because I think they really need to work together. They shouldn't be siloed.
Yeah, they always.
So I think that's important. So if you guys think that's a thing that we can add to the next agenda, then we can do that.
and I can let Pathways know that this is something that y'all are interested in. I definitely have no issue.
Okay. So I can do that. All right, Jean, you want to move on to the next slide?
Yep.
All right. Oh, sorry, it's the next item on the agenda.
India letter of this.
It's the critical BPAC vacancies letter. Okay, so this is an action item, I believe I have this. Oh, I don't have it. Yeah, I do have it as an action item. I just would like you all to review this letter and see if you approve us to send it. Maybe make it a little larger.
Proposing to send this letter to? Who are you proposing to send the letter to?
So to each one of these vacancies, so we would send it to Caroline County.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't have to send it to the policy committee. I'm gonna present to them in a couple weeks.
Like, so sorry, my voice is a little shot. Responsibility county goes to county and then I'll coordinate with the board members.
I don't see any issue with the letter.
Oh.
That's great. Okay, great. We'll send it out then. Oh, I guess we actually need a motion in a second and all that.
Can I get a motion for approval of this letter to be distributed?
I'll make a motion to approve the letter as proposed.
Any discussion? All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
So we're not going to present this here. This is correspondence. This is just an update on the Virginia Passenger Rail Authority, the work that they're going to be doing on the Long Bridge that is going to impact VRE trains in the morning and afternoon. So this is part of your packet. You can peruse this at your leisure. It's just going to be the next few years. It's going to impact several trains, basically, service. So just to let you guys know. We can go on to the next item. And go ahead and talk about, have you been talking about this at the other, or has Becky? All right, Just simply put, this is our meetings calendar for the next year. BPAC is green. So if we want to take a look at this and see if any of these are bad for us for one reason or another. It's a good time to change. Well, not you. You don't care. But like, yeah. The next item on our agenda. All right, so you can look at this later. We can talk about it at the next meeting, but we need to finalize it. Next meeting, which is gonna be January 8th. All right. All right, staff reports. I have one. I have one. So I want to let you all know, because I just let the cat out of the bag a second ago, that Jamie is leaving us. She's going on to another adventure, another opportunity. This is her last meeting. And I'm gonna pass this to you, Brian, our vice chair. Is going to present you something, Jamie.
Thank you. Thank you very much. It's been a pleasure serving, and I'm sorry that I'm leaving y'all in the middle of the BPAC year. Yes, I will miss you greatly, and looking forward to seeing y'all at some future event, program, activity, or I'll be around. So
Can we ask where you're going to?
I'll tell you offline once the.
Yeah, right on.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, no. Thank you for the card. Thank you. Y'all are so sweet. I'll read these this afternoon, make me feel better about myself.
Good. You should feel good about yourself. You've been great. All right. That was my staff report.
All right. So the next BPAC meeting is January 8th, so we'll see.
We still want the transportation photos.
Oh, if you have your active transportation photos, give them to Lita. I mean, not Lita, Harry wants them. Lita wants them?
Give them to anybody. Give them. We're begging for you to take pictures as you go out and do things, as you hike, as you ride your bike, as you walk, whatever. We need pretty pictures, action pictures, pictures of facilities around the region. We're about to do our long-range transportation plan update. We need them from all 5 counties because I'm also going to be doing some updates on the rural long-range transportation plan. And we will credit you if you would like. Like, some people don't want to be credited, but if you do, we absolutely will. So please send them to us. And then we need member reports.
So member reports, does anybody have any reports they want to share? Writing in for active transportation photos.
Thank you. Usually folks have so much to say.
If anybody is interested in the most recent slugging report, I can tell you all about it. So if any organization wants to hear about it, I can come and tell you about it.
And then I could say quickly for Spotsylvania County, I've said it before, we do have an active survey open if you're interested in Spotsylvania County for the comprehensive plan that's running through the end of January. It's available through our county website on the main website. They have a little clickable link. There's other places to get it as well. It runs in the newspaper and various places. The conference plan is in drafting right now. We don't expect to have it delivered till late next year. This is a 5-year update cycle, so this is not just a surgical amendment like we tend to do every year. It's a major kind of overhaul update, so we are in the midst of doing that. Some tweaks on bike ped, things that, you know, as the years go by, you realize some routes have to be tweaked a little bit, or there's opportunities, or some things are less practical than others. So we are working through those things right now, and that's all I have. Thank you. Yeah, me too.
Hey, your voice is real deep.
Yeah, it doesn't. I'm like, who is that guy?
Yeah.
Barry White tonight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, next meeting is January 8th at 6 o'clock. Can I get a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
All right, second. All right, all those in favor?
Aye, thank you.
We're out of here.
Great, guys. Thank you all.
See ya, Craig.